This is a disclaimer. All the methods I'm about to mention are for educational purposes only, and you guys probably don't want to chase after grade 6 souls too hard if you're just starting out, because you can make much more progress focusing your energy on promoting your DPS units or building a good team in preparation for the Orochi 10 dungeon. So please bear that in mind while you're watching the video, and enjoy. So since we're talking about how to get a grade 6 soul, let's just get the obvious out of the way. And obviously you can get grade 6 souls from the Orochi 10 dungeon, and it would be the most reliable and best way to get grade 6 souls. But since most new players would have trouble getting to Orochi 10 or even beating it, I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can get grade 6 souls without having to do Orochi 10. But I wouldn't recommend most of the methods that I'm about to mention, so just keep that in mind, and without further ado, let's get started. So the first way to get the grade 6 soul is by going to the town and then talking to the mystic trader. As you can see here, there are two sections. You can exchange for the plain soul box with Orochi scale, or the exquisite soul box with the Orochi reverse scale, or what I would like to call it, the shiny scales. So I'm gonna briefly talk about how to get each of these scales later in the video, but what you want to pay attention to is the plain soul box is gonna give you a random soul. So most of the time you're gonna get something useless, but since the Orochi scale is so easy to come by, this is a good way to just get a little extra 6-star souls. I'm just gonna show you guys some quick examples of what you might get. Moving on to the exquisite soul box, this is going to allow you to be selective about the soul sets that you want and also the slots that you want. So this is a way better way to choose the souls that you want, because you actually get to narrow down the choice. However, the Orochi reverse scales are harder to come by, so that's the trade-off there. Again, to give you guys an example of what you might get, I usually like to go for the seductress set, and I like to choose slot 6 because it might give me a critical damage or a critical rate, which are really valuable main stats. So the first one, we got a defense bonus. Not really what I'm hoping for, but it happens. And the second one is defense bonus again. So neither one of these is what I'm hoping for. You know, it's gonna happen a lot, the disappointment. So you just gotta get used to it. One way to earn Orochi scale is by going into the guild tab and then selecting the shrine, and then you want to click on to the group quests, and then in the group quest sometimes your leader will choose the accompany quest as part of the daily quest, and by participating in the accompany quest with a guildmate, you will be able to get the Orochi scale every time you complete it. So you can get up to 40 scales in one day. Let's move on to talk about how you can get Orochi reverse scales. And the way you can get them is by releasing souls. Specifically, you want to be releasing souls above grade 5. And by doing so, you get coins, and you also get a shot of getting the reverse Orochi scales, which is why it is important to remember to not feed your high grade souls for upgrading your totem or upgrading other souls, because you should save them for release so you can get coins or the reverse Orochi scales, or sometimes you get shards as well. The higher the rarity of the soul, the more likely you're gonna get more shards or the reverse scales. Release, confirm. There you go, we got 3 scales. Another way to get reverse Orochi scale is by doing friendship pacts, and you can access it by clicking onto this icon. And as part of the reward, you gain Orochi scales for completing the task, and you only get 2 to 3 Orochi scales, which is not a lot, but there's the added benefit of receiving other possible rewards. After your Onmyoji reaches rank 40, you're gonna start seeing grade 6 souls being sold at the mall. Each of them will cost almost 500,000 coins, so I would recommend you guys to stay away from the mall simply because it's so expensive. You're better off spending those coins to enhance your existing souls. If you really want to purchase a soul, you want to make sure you have the knowledge to identify what's a good purchase and what's a bad one. So just by looking at the screen, Shadow 6 is a way better purchase than Scarlet 5. If you're not sure why, maybe don't buy anything or just ask someone who might know. I'm also going to try to make a video on explaining how to identify a good soul. Another option to get a Grade 6 soul is by purchasing it with medals under the general store. It's going to cost 480 medals. Again, I would advise against it because it is just way too expensive. And if you have spare medals, you're better off upgrading your bento box or sake pot. Of course, you want to get the skilled aroma every week, but even if you have spare medals, I wouldn't spend it on this. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna buy it. So this is not a good soul. So just let this be a warning to you guys. Spend your medals somewhere else. Don't buy this. Next up, I want to talk about the Netherworld, which can be another source of Grade 6 souls. The unfortunate news is that you need to be able to clear up to wave 40 before you see the Soul 6 drop. So just gotta set up a good team, get prepared before the weekends arrive. But the main price here is actually the skilled Daruma shards or the black Daruma shards. Once you have collected enough of these guys, you will be able to summon a skilled Daruma, which is going to be extremely valuable for upgrading your SSR units. So this is just something to look forward to. Next up, we are going to talk about the Kraken, and I'm going to turn on my buffs. And what you want to take note of is the quality of the soul the Kraken drops is dependent on the level of Orochi dungeon that you have unlocked. Okay, so to give you an example, I have unlocked Orochi 10, so I'm more likely to get a Grade 6 drop compared to someone who has only unlocked, say, Orochi 7. So yeah, this is important because if you want high grade soul drop, then you want to unlock as many Orochi dungeon as possible. I would even say don't bother with Kraken unless you have unlocked up to Orochi 8 or 9, and you definitely don't want to go below Orochi 7 because that's the minimal for Grade 6 soul drop to appear in Kraken. And again, this is not a reliable way to get a Grade 6 soul drop, and I only recommend this mode for anyone who really wants to burn their AP quickly. So another method to get a Grade 6 soul is by going to the shrine, and if you're lucky, in a certain week, the shrine will give you the option to use the Talisman to exchange for a Grade 6 soul. The tricky part is you need to make sure whatever unit that you're releasing is a unit that you don't need. But once you have got enough Talisman, you can exchange for a soul that you want for 200 Talisman, and it is a little pricey, but if you're just starting out and you feel like there are some units that you don't need, this is might be a good option. One thing to note though, you only get 5 attempts every cycle. And again, this is not a method I would recommend to anyone, simply because it is kind of expensive. So unless you spend real money on this game and you have a lot of spare units that you feel like you're never going to use, I would recommend you guys to stay away from it. So the methods I've shared in this video are the ones that I feel like are more achievable by most players. If there's anything I've missed, feel free to comment down below or contact me directly. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and share it with your friends. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.